888-94706, or you can go online, www.maxmarina.com, maxmarina.com.
Speaking from experience, don't wait till you want to go in the water on your boat to see if your boat is ready to go in the water.
Oh, yeah, you've got to jump on it early because those engines, especially older outboards, they need a little help, and you got to take care of them before you try and get it out on the water. I'm one of those guys, you know. So, all right, so we were talking, and I just want to finish up with the EMP, right? Having our electrical grid hardened.
EMP, electromagnetic pulse.
Yep. And so I'm going to tell people, call your congressman. For goodness sakes, call Debbie Stabenow and Gary Peters, our 2 U.S. senators, and tell them to make it a priority. Tell them to stop playing partisan politics with this. We need to have our electrical grid hardened, A, from EMP, B, from cyber attacks. It needs to happen because you heard him say in that last clip, 90% of the people in an area that loses its electricity could die. And that's no joke.
Hospitals. Breathing machines at home.
Well, think about the city of New York. If there's no electricity, and I think it happens to vehicles is right. Yeah. Vehicles go down too. So you're not going to have trucks bringing food into New York City. How quickly do people in the big cities run out of food? Mm-hmm. It's going to be horrible. People will literally starve to death if we do not have an electrical system up and running.
There's nothing political about electricity.
Nothing. And so people need to really get on your congressmen, get on your U.S. senators, call them and send them an email, whatever. Tell them we need to harden the grid. It needs to happen. This is important. It really is. Okay, that's done. Let's move on to Korea, shall we?
Yeah.
China now, and I wanted to pull this up a little bit because some people I think are going the other way. They're saying China's going to help us. I don't know how much China's really going to help us. They've talked about cutting their coal, buying their coal from Korea for months now. It's not something that just happened after Donald Trump met with President Xi, right? And they've stopped running Chinese airlines into Pyongyang as of Friday as well. But that was something that was in the works for a number of months. So those are not necessarily all because of Trump. Yeah. This is China having its own concerns and worries about North Korea. There was another episode that said 150,000 troops have moved to the Chinese-North Korean border. Well, they've always got like 100,000 troops on the border. They did send some other stuff. But I think it's a good thing, and maybe that was part of the discussions that Trump and President Xi had when they met at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, let's be honest. If two major powers like us look at each other, knowing how interrelated we are business-wise. If we stop buying things from China, man, there's going to have a huge economic impact over there. And if we don't buy things from China, it's going to have a huge economic impact on us as well. We're so interrelated now that a war or a boycott or anything.
Or some little chump with a bad haircut threatening to nuke your best customer.
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't go over so well.
That's exactly right. I think the Chinese have reached that point where they're like, you know what? And maybe it's something as simple as Trump saying to him, listen, we don't care who you put there. We don't care what you do with North Korea, but take that guy out. You know what I mean? If that's your client-sponsor state, fine. Take him out and put somebody you prefer in there. We don't care who it is because
they had a guy they were grooming, which was this guy's cousin or something like that.
The one that just died in Indonesia, right?
Yeah,
yeah. So it's here, and it kind of goes the same for Syria. You know, talk to the Russians. Say, listen, get rid of Assad. You must have a backup. Put him in instead, and that makes everything better. We can work from there. But, I mean, let's be honest. I wish somebody would just come out and say, listen, North Korea, we have no reason to invade you. You have absolutely nothing that the world wants. Nothing. Nothing that we can't buy cheaper and better and with less hassle from somewhere else. There's no reason the United States, and I wish someone in the U.S. government would say that. We have no intention ever of invading Korea, Mr. Kim Jong-un. None. You have nothing we want. We don't want to come there. We don't want to see anything. Don't worry about invading you. We never will. Will we attack you? Only if you keep provoking. You know, you keep dropping missiles in Japan's seas, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
But we're certainly not going to invade because what do they want? I guess they're so dark because they have no electricity. You could probably, and maybe that's what they should do. Open up a tourism, sky watching. You can probably see the stars really good in North Korea, right? I mean, it's the only. They always show that satellite view of North Korea.
Oh, yeah,
it's pitch black, right? And everything around it has got
There's
plenty
the border.
of light.
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe you can start a tourism business watching the stars from North Korea, where it's pitch black all the time.
Go back in time, see what a primitive culture really looks like.
That could be a tour. Maybe
Yeah.
people want to see that. I don't know.
Put up plastic dinosaurs. And
They might even have dinosaurs or Siberian tigers there. Gosh only knows. But here's the thing. Somebody needs to say that, you have nothing. Nobody wants to invade North Korea because you have nothing but garbage there. Your technology is substandard. You don't have any natural resources we can't get somewhere else. So we're not going to invade you. And the South Koreans could care less, right? They'd like to be able to see their cousins probably, but I'm sure the South Koreans have no reason to go to North Korea or want to invade North Korea. They've got nothing.
But this really is a totalitarian trick on the part of the rulers there. And that is that basically you keep your subjugated populace subjugated and behind you by continually talking about the threat from those North American aggressors, from the South American aggressors. And by keeping that threat up, then you sort of justify it as starving them to feed the military budget.
Yeah. I'm kind of amazed that the military itself has not opened up because the leaders of the military government must know the truth of what's really on the outside world, right? And you would think that, you know what, we can all make a lot more money if we get rid of Chubby Boy and kind of open up a little bit.
But they're each afraid of popping their head up. The first one up.
Do you really think it's him? Do you think he's the top guy? I find it hard to believe that all those high-powered, highly experienced, highly seasoned generals are not calling the shots. I can't believe it's that little Korean beef burrito boy, as I call him, is the one that's got everybody scared and calling all the shots. I can't see it. Do you?
We should be grateful because his haircut makes the rest of us look good. No matter what you have on a bad hair day, just point to him.
Yeah, well, it always reminds me, I say the same thing about our presidents in the White House. I don't know who the barber is in the White House, but every president we've had from Reagan forward, from Carter forward, have terrible haircuts. Who's cutting the hair of the guys in the White House? You ever think of is it just me? Everyone. Terrible haircuts. George Bush, first George Bush, second George Bush, even Slick Willie had a terrible haircut in my, it just didn't matter.
I never paid attention.
Now, Trump's the first one going in with bad hair to start with. But,
yeah.
Yeah, that's craziness. Well, let's talk about the other big news this week was the MOAB, right? The mother of all bombs. What did you call it? Give us the details.
Massive ordnance airburst.
Okay, and that's the big, huge 21,000 pound. They actually toss out the back end of a C-130 in order to get it where it needs to go.
Oh, knock, knock.
Well, until yesterday, and I had to update the Daily Drift this morning, they were saying 36, they killed 36. As of this morning, it jumped up to 94 terrorists.
They have to
dead
find them.
so far. Yeah, they got to do a little digging to find all the bodies, right?
The whole thinking behind that is that airburst is important. We think of bombs leaving huge craters. That guy comes down and he leaves a massive concussive force that actually goes down and blows through those tunnels. Just collapsing stuff, just crushing anything in its way. It's not that it's collapsing the structure so much. It's just a way of pushing air at such a high velocity. It just kills anything organic in its path.
Yeah, and I thought I heard one of the generals, and it was on Fox. I'm assuming he was right. He said there was a thermobaric component to this, right?
Yeah, it sucks the air
out.
out.
It literally burns all the oxygen up. So if you're deep enough in one of the tunnels that you're not hurt by the concussion, but your air gets sucked out and used up, and so you literally suffocate.
Firebombing used to be like that too. When firebombing was done, it wasn't the fire that killed you; it was the lack of oxygen.
Yeah, terrible way to die, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Maybe that'll teach them a lesson. I think it sends a clear signal, definitely. Now people will say, it's a signal to the Koreans, it's a signal to the Iranians. I'll tell you who it's a signal to. It's a signal to the ISIS guys and the terrorists. You know what? You can hide in those bunkers all day long, buddy. If we really want you, we're coming in for you.
Well, there was quite the debate in Afghanistan during the earlier years of whether to use it or not, and there appeared to be no debate this time. It's just like, it's a bomb.
Well,
use it.
And it's amazing how the media once again wants to say, Trump, did you give that order? Trump, did you give that order? Trying to make him look like the bad guy. And I liked his response. He said, I give them an order to use whatever they need. And the general said, I didn't have to call him. I made the decision, which is right. For the first time in 8 years, the military is being unhandcuffed and said, do the job that you're meant to do. That is your job. We're not going to endanger the lives of our guys anymore by trying to send some guys in there to poke around and make sure, we do it the right way. The heck with that.
Well, now there's the politically correct criticism that, why is it the mother of all bombs? Why can't it be the father of all bombs? Because MOAB is massive ordnance air burst, not FOAB, which I don't know what the heck.
It's sheer craziness. Well, anyways, one of the things that the media did, they said, oh my gosh, these things cost $314 million each. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. There's just no way that's possible. Well, as you dig through the crap fake news, it went from $314 million each to that being a total cost for whatever 20, which made it $16 million each. And then this came out. The Pentagon does not have an exact cost, but an Air Force statement says about $170,000 per unit in 2003 when these things were built.
Well, that sounds more reasonable.
Okay, which brings it to a cost of like $227,000 today, adjusting for inflation. Now, it's amazing that we've had these things around for what?
2002 or 3, I think.
All right, so 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
No shelf life, I guess, on these things?
Well, you got to rotate them just like we do the Tomahawks. Remember last week we were talking about you got to rotate. There's the shelf life. Yeah, you got to get the stuff.
Get them out of there, man.
Yeah.
Use them up. You got to use them sooner or later, right? You can't throw them in the ocean and get fish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, craziness. But $227,000. So once again, the media, and that included Glenn Beck, because it wasn't Thursday or whatever day it dropped that I heard Glenn Beck the next day saying, "Oh, we just spent $314 million." Like, come on, Beck, do your homework, for crying out loud.
There's a lot of veterans who have been damaged in the wars who they have said, why didn't we do this sooner? Why did I have to go in and attack something when we could have done that? Why did I have to lose a leg? I mean, where's the cost there?
Yeah.
The cost to our soldiers, because we had some kind of rule of engagement says, we can't use the mother of all bombs on these people.
Yeah.
Well, no.
You take away those stupid, overreaching rules of engagement, and nothing can stop the U.S. military, bar none.
Yeah.
Nothing. We didn't have rules of engagement in World War II, right? Or World War I. I mean, if they were there, they were pretty doggone slim because lots of civilians died by our hand as well as theirs. Yes. So you do what you have to do. When it's wartime, folks.
Yeah.
Forget about the collateral damage. It's going to happen. You want to win a war, you can't worry about that. So let's go to, boy, the time is just flying by. Derek, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to jump in about the GOP, and they're now talking about dropping funding
for the wall.
So we'll talk about that on the other side of the break.
Wham! Talk 1600 can give a voice to your business, build a powerful brand, and increase awareness by sharing your message on Wham! Talk 1600. Our experienced production department will create a quality radio announcement at a price that can't be beat. You can even be featured on our website, whamradio.com. And in print media with Wham! On Main Street in the Current newspaper, serving Washtenaw and Livingston counties. Unlock the possibilities and increase awareness of your business starting today. Call Wham! Talk 1600 at 734-971-1600 and get started now. The businesses that succeed in today's challenging economy are those that establish a strong presence in the marketplace. Call an advertising specialist now. Call 734-971-1600 now. Wham! Talk 1600.
Get ready to get away. It's Firekeepers Vacation Sensation, Saturday, April 29th. 25 winners will share $125,000 in travel, prizes, and cash. The fun starts at 2 p.m. Every 2 hours, 5 players will pick a suitcase to win cash and prizes. Then 5 more pick at 10 p.m. One will win the grand prize, $25,000 cash and $10,000 in travel. Where in the world will you go? Earn entries every day, drawing Saturday, April 29th. The $125,000 Vacation Sensation giveaway is your passport to fun. Firekeepers, the best promotions, the biggest guaranteed prizes. Get ready, get set, get your Vegas on. I-94 to exit 104 in Battle Creek. FirekeepersCasino.com. Management reserves all rights.
No shots, no drills, no pain. Got your attention? I'm talking about Dr. Michael Singleton, DDS in Saline. He's been my family's dentist for almost 30 years, and that's a long time. If you're like most people, fear keeps you from going to the dentist.